Hello guys, and welcome to this video on Cisco Meraki Dot1x. So in this video I will be configuring Dot1x and MAB authentication on the Cisco Meraki MS and MR. So let's start. Now here we are on the Meraki MS switch, and what you want to do first is you go to the access policies here. Once you're here, you can see I've already configured the ISE. And actually what you can do is you can configure it in organization and settings, and then you add the radius server, and after that you can select it here. But if you don't want to do that, you can enter it manually here also. As you see, I have it selected here. So you add the IP address, the authentication port, and the password that you're using on both the ISE and here on the switch access policies. I will also add accounting, even though I will not be using it right now, and the same password there. All right, now we have single host, as I will only be authenticating a PC and a printer, hybrid authentication, because I will be using MAB and also Dot1x. So if Dot1x fails, it will use MAB. If you only have Dot1x, you select that one. Or if you only have MAB, you only use MAC authentication bypass. All right, now here we can have, if it fails, it will be put on VLAN 250. And that's it actually, and you only save that. All right, so let me show you how it looks like in ISE. We have the policy sets here. Let's start with wired Dot1x. So we have here the wired condition, which we added, and then all user ID stores to check on our employees. And then we have the authorization. So if it is equals to the group employee, I will be added to the profile VLAN 11. So let me just show you how that looks like. So let's go to administration identities. And as you see here, they are added to a group that is called employee. And yeah, let me show you also the authorization rule. Authorization profile. And here we have VLAN 11. And the only thing we have to do here is we check this VLAN, and then add the VLAN here and save. So that's all we have to configure there. Now let's go back to the wired Dot1x. As you see, we have default network access, and this one will include PEAP, which is the username password login, which I'm using as a Dot1x method. Actually, let's go to that too. Let's see, protocols. Let's see here. As you see, we only have one here. And here is where you specify the protocols allowed. So we have this one for the MAB. And then as you see, we have here for the username password. We also have some, as you see, we have EAP and something more. So as you see, preferred protocol is PEAP, and that's the one I'm using. So here's what you have to go to and configure if you're doing ISE to Meraki. All right, as you see, we have actually been assigned this IP address. This ISE has some issues with the logs. Otherwise, we could have seen the live logs. As you see, we have some issues. Maybe it is the version or something. But in the meanwhile, we'll just be checking here. All right, so that's what you do for the wired Dot1x. As you see, we have received the correct VLAN. If we do a disable and re-enable, let's see if that is going to work. All right, so after the cycling of the port, we can see it's still receiving the correct VLAN. Now, let's go to the printer. As you see, it is assigned to VLAN 20. So let's go back to ISE and to the policy sets, wired MAB. As you see here, we are using the condition for wired MAB. It is a pre-configured condition. As you see here, we have some information. You just drag it, put it here. And then on the authentication policy, you use internal endpoints. And then we have the authentication authorization policy here. So as you see here, I am matching it. So MAC starts with 842519, and that is the printer. And then it will be assigned to this authorization profile VLAN 20. And as we saw on the switch, that's what we're getting here. Now let's try to disable and re-enable to see if we still get that IP address. Alright, as you see, we still have it. Now let's do something here. If we, for example, change this, just to see what happens. Now the MAC address is not in ISE, so let's disable and re-enable again. Now it should be assigned to a VLAN 250. Let's run a packet capture, see if we can find anything here. There. Right, so as you see, it is actually in VLAN 250 now. If we go back, I think it should be updated. There. All right. So let's put that back. So there's a lot of things you can do to match on like MAB, and profiling is the best method, but as we only have the base license, we will use this one here. Save. All right, now we have done actually MAB and also wire Dot1x. The next one will be wireless Dot1x. All right, let's continue to the wireless part. Okay, for wireless, you go to access control. As I said before, I'm using PEAP, so I log in to the Wi-Fi with username, password, and same for the wired. Now you can do it with certificates, and that's another way to configure it. All right, so here I'm using enterprise with radius and non-direct access, and then we have the radius server here. We can test it. So the radius server was reached, but the credentials were incorrect. Let's try with my real credentials. As you see now, when I put in the correct credentials, all access points suddenly successfully contacted the radius server. All right, great. So we have that configured. Now this is what we need, because the radius server will override our VLAN tag that is here. After that, you save it, and the rest is actually configured on ISE. So let's go back to policy sets, wireless Dot1x. We're matching on wireless here. Then we're using internal users on the authorization part. Exactly the same as wire Dot1x. So equals the employee group, VLAN 10. And that's all. So now if I want to log into this corp VLAN, I just set the username password and I'm in. So this is how it looks like when you configure the switches and MR for Dot1x. Of course, there is a better and more secure method, and that is the certificates. And maybe we'll look into that and configure that in the future. But for this video, that was all. And thank you guys for watching.